I have a food-related story that involves speaking up for yourself when you're in the store. And here's the story. This morning, on my way to work, which was, I did a lot before I even left the house, right? I got up at 3, not 4, because I wanted to finish cleaning the kitchen and do my exercises and wash my hair, because if it's Monday, it's hair day. Ergo, I didn't leave the house until close to 7:30, which is really late for me. On the way to work, I'm thinking, okay, so what am I going to eat? Well, I know I have leftover seafood gumbo from Stevie's Creole Cafe that I went to for the second week in a row yesterday, Sunday. It was so extremely good a week ago Sunday. I got the fried catfish. Un-effing believable. And so yesterday I wanted to get the seafood gumbo because their advertising is best in the world. So said somebody who makes a difference in the world of food. Some critic. So I'm like, okay, but I can only get one thing at a time. I'm reducing my orders to one entree at a time, so that I can eat on the spur of the moment, eat on the energy of the day, eat what my feelings direct me to eat each day. Because if I get my normal 2 to 3 entrees and then portion them out for the week, that kind of locks me into eating that. When I was jazzed about getting those 3 entrees the day I ordered them, but then as the days unfold in the week, I'm like, well, I guess I really don't want any of this. I want something new and exciting. So therefore, I went to one entree ordered at a time. Makes more sense, saves money. Well, when I ordered Stevie's Creole seafood gumbo, it was delicious beyond belief. They were not lying. It is the most delicious I've ever had. But what they didn't tell you was it's light on stuff. Okay, so the sauce is unbelievable. I would eat that sauce by itself. It was so good in the seafood gumbo. But it had 2 crab claws. Now I got the small, not the large. It had 2 crab claws, 3 shrimp, 4 or 5 slices of sausage, and then it comes with rice on the side and a little piece of bread with some spices and flavoring on the side. So I ate half of the bread yesterday, but I didn't eat the rest of it. The rice was enough. So I ate that. I ate the rest of it this morning. I ate half yesterday, half this morning. It just wasn't enough food. And I knew it wasn't going to be because I knew what was left, right? So ergo, New York Bagel Deli, where they have my favorite Italiano Subs. This is actually one sandwich broken into 2 halves. The Italian, oh my God, you could lift these as weights, right? And do exercise. I don't think I haven't done it. I'm going to open it. I'm going to eat it because I'm absolutely starving. But here's what I wanted to say. So I got this back in the day before COVID when it was $10. Then it went up to $13 as prices increased around COVID or thereafter. Today it was $17.50. So I'm watching the guys pull the bread out. Now, the loaf of bread they make this with is twice as long as this. No, it's 1.5 times. Okay, whatever it is, there's a guy standing. So I put the order in, I pay the money. So now I'm watching them take the loaf of bread out that they have to slice to put the stuff in. We're going to open one now because I'm so hungry. I have to eat. Look at this. Look at I am not one that eats sandwiches that often. Look at this. Hold on a minute. It is so incredibly good, I can't even tell you. Okay, I will eat this in a second. So I'm watching them, three men that worked at New York Bagel Deli. They're all standing around this loaf of bread. And the one guy with the knife is deciding where he's going to cut it. And I said to them from across the counter, don't you dare make this smaller than it normally is. You've already increased the price $4.50 more than the first price increase of $13 when it was $10 a few years ago. I said, don't you dare make this smaller or I want my money back. I said it in a nice tone of voice so that everybody would laugh. And they made it the exact same size as it used to be. Listen, I think it's outrageous that people are charging more money. Okay, I get it, gasoline is higher, I get all that, but you can't make shit smaller. I mean, don't do that, that's rotten. So go ahead if you have to charge more money, but don't dare make it smaller. I wish I could go into everybody's kitchen and do that. Okay, so you get a side with this. So they didn't make it smaller. This will take me like 3 weeks to eat. They didn't make it smaller. You get a side. You can either get a bag of potato chips or any one of 4 or 5 salads. I, of course, got the coleslaw because I love coleslaw. It's vegetables. And they also give you a slice of pickle. Let me explain to you that they used to give 3 slices of pickle. I can't believe it. Now they only have 1. But, wait a minute. The other reason why I got the coleslaw and not chips, chips have to be eaten with this, no question. I had at the office the dill pickle chips from Trader Joe's unopened. For a rainy day, I hold them. This is a sunny day, but we're eating it now. So please join me in your meal and take a bite of whatever delicious food you have. Mm-mm. Mm. It requires 2. And a little bite of coleslaw. I'm telling you, well worth waiting for. This is friggin' phenomenal. Well worth waiting for. One more bite and then I'll share what I'm having for dessert. So look what I do. I try and eat off the meat and leave some bread. I've been known to pull the bread off and just eat the meat and the lettuce and tomato inside. I've been known to do that. But at first I eat around it. You know, you can put potato chips in the sandwich, right? A lot of people do that. Potato chips in the sandwich, coleslaw on the sandwich, but it'll make it a little soggy. Now, that we've done the round, and you have to do the round. For those of you who do not like food touching each other, I mean, there are people like this. Some of my best friends are like this. For some reason, they think it's completely illogical and beyond horrifying on a plate to let food touch itself. So, but you have to be conscientious about eating each piece of the meal kind of in one bite. You just add it into the biting and eating process. And then there's dessert. Dessert is brought to us by Stevie's Seafood Creole Cafe. And it's Stevie's version of peach beignet. Okay, this is not really a beignet, by the way. If anybody's been to New Orleans, you know what a beignet is. It is a pastry. It doesn't look like this, and it's made differently. But who cares? It's fucking pastry. So there's peach inside of here. See, it's hiding. This is dessert. Oh my God. Oh my God. They held up. These little beignets that are not really beignets, but what the fuck? They're delicious. They held up in the refrigerator overnight. Of course, I ate one yesterday. There were 3. They are very different than the regular beignets that they serve. And those beignets are very different than New Orleans beignets. Bottom line, it's all good stuff. It tastes delicious. And that's the meal for today. But my message is you must speak up. In this day and age, where people are charging through the yin-yang for food, for everything, but definitely for food, you can't let people walk all over you. You can't let them charge you more and give you less. It's just not okay. It really isn't. So that was ballsy to do for me today, but it worked. And I was nice about it. You know, you can't be mean or no one's going to care. They'll say, well, then get out of here. We won't serve you. Fuck you. So you don't want to do that. You want to be nice at all times. You want to be a lady or a gentleman. But you want to say what you need to say. And that is, if you're going to charge me more money, do not give me a smaller portion. How dare I? If they were this much smaller, I still think it would be a lot, right? Whatever. And let's see, I want to leave you with a little philosophical thing. Now that we've connected over food, right? I was on Instagram yesterday, and Harrison Ford was on Instagram as well. So he came up in my feed, and this is what he said, and I thought it was interesting and enough to share with you. He said, I keep acting at the age of 82 for the essential human connection. Essential human connection, which is exactly what's missing in our society today. Exactly what's missing. We don't have the human connection we used to have. Well, first of all of our electronic gadgets have pulled us apart. It just has. You know, we're on text, that's not human connection. Not like face-to-face in the same room with somebody, that's not human connection. That's not working on a project with somebody. Well, it is, but it really isn't. Y'all that have grown up on the phone, on the computer, I think many of you are struggling to figure out how to connect. But we all need human connection. I've started speaking now and marketing myself in the corporate arena to do work on human connection, to show people how to connect better, their employees, their management to their employees, you know, so that their companies would be really tight and family-like. because you need that, right? And the politics, you know, you can see in politics now that we're just not connected. I mean, we're such polar opposites right now. And everybody lies. All the pundits, you know, we're not even thinking, we don't know our history well enough. Well, of course I do. Very interested in history. Because history repeats itself. I'd like not to repeat certain things. And yes, so human connection in politics. We are on these crazy polar opposite sides of issues, and we're not going to get anywhere unless we push the pundits aside and we just talk to one another. And we just share how we think, share how we feel, share our concerns, share our desires, share our dreams for ourselves, and really talk about the issues that seem to be always talked about with no resolutions. So now I'm interested in human connection, and it starts with just having lunch with you. You know, it just starts with me having get-togethers with more people instead of finding solace in solitude. I don't want to do that. I really think there's a value to being around people. And I think you might agree that we are disconnected. So the biggest point I want to make here, after the biggest sandwich I've ever eaten, hold on, is in these lunchtime meetings, I'm going to talk about stuff like if I were debating J.D. Vance, this is my favorite, I would have done much better than Tim Walz. Much better. Tim crumbled. He didn't need to crumble. But I think it's about he doesn't know, none of them know how to connect with people properly. The Republicans, this version of them, seem to know how to connect very, very well through fear and people who need a strong man to represent them. Think mafia. Think mafia. Strong men. People love the mafia. My mother loved the mafia. She didn't get that they killed people. See, that's the disconnect, that they killed people. But my mother, her generation, she was born in the Depression, and Italian, so I'm 100% Italian. She was in love with the mafia because they were strong men. They took care of things. And I heard somebody talk about Trump and why he has so many people that follow him. He does strongman talk. Well, he does bullying. And I'm scared as shit about him. But I understand why people like him. People love John Gotti. People love Tony Soprano, even though he was a fictional character like Hannibal Lecter. The character of Tony Soprano had a following. I don't know that Hannibal Lecter had a following, except for Donald Trump, but Tony Soprano had a following. John Gotti had a following. Look at the John Gotti documentary on Netflix. It's the Donald Trump story. It's why people follow Donald Trump. And I'm not going to put people down because they follow Donald Trump. Yeah, I'm scared to death that he'll become president. But I guess I understand why people like him. People like a strong man. And then there's just other people who are diehard Republicans or diehard Democrats, and they'll just vote for the person representing that party regardless of who they are. You know? Hold on a minute. It is what it is. Same thing for Democrats. You could have a Democrat that you don't really like and you're on the Democratic Party. If you're diehard, you're going to vote anyway. I don't. I've been a Republican, I've been a Democrat, I'm an independent, I vote both parties. But if we want to be connected again, and I want us to be connected again, I want to push the media pundits out of the way because they don't help us at all. If they let us know what party they're representing, they're no help to us. They're not being honest with us. They're feeding us the pablum they think we want to have. I don't want to know what party you're on if you're going to give me information. Margaret Brennan is one of the few people, Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation is one of the few people, I don't know what party she's on. She's rough on everybody. I like that. Well, not that she's rough. I like that I don't know what party she's on. Just give me information. Let me see you talk to these people. But let's go back to, but if I were debating, if I were debating J.D. Vance on the economy, I would have said this. The economy is inherited by the new president from the old president. Trump inherited Barack Obama's economy. Oh my God, Trump would go nuts. And Biden inherited Trump's economy. Well, Trump's economy was almost a false economy because it was a COVID economy. But I do know the one thing that killed Biden and is killing Harris right now, and that's the rise in gasoline prices. At the beginning of the Biden administration, it affected everything. Yeah, I don't care about inflation, jobs. We're paying too much to live. That's the way it is. That's a big issue. Immigration, that's easy. If Trump had done what he said he was going to do when he was president, we wouldn't be talking about immigration, would we? If the wall was built, why would we be having an immigration conversation? I would put it right back on them. That's easy. And then Harris's record. That's easy too. Oh, she has a record, but not as VP. No VP has a record. They serve at the pleasure of the president. They do what the president tells them to do. Pence didn't have a record except he certified the election. It's the only time he has a record because he didn't listen to the president, because the president was giving him erroneous information like you don't have to. Excuse me. Right. But Harris has a record as a prosecutor in Oakland, Attorney General of California, and in neither position, by the way, was she effective with the economy. She has nothing to do with the economy of California. And as a U.S. Senator, I don't think she affected the economy, but you could tell how tough she was when she was grilling and questioning Jeff Sessions, Barr, and Brett Kavanaugh. That's easy. No vice president has a record. It's not the Harris administration. It's the Biden-Harris administration in which Harris takes her orders from Biden. That's it. And why can't she disagree with something Biden's done? We all disagree with things Biden has done. Every one of us disagrees. Even if we're voting for Harris and would have voted for him if he hadn't brained out on us. He's done things. So that would have been easy. And I think I would have connected with J.D. Vance very well. And I would have said it with a smile. And I would have been pleasant. But you know what? They actually were very pleasant to one another, weren't they? If you watched the debate, they were. That was kind of cool to see. I enjoyed that. So anyway, yes. So this is our lunchtime visit today. You must speak up, recapping, you must speak up when you go to restaurants. You must say it nicely and connect. We must tackle the tough conversations, not only in the restaurants when we're editing our food, but with people in politics, religion, whatever it is. We have to be able to have the tough conversations and connect as human beings having an important conversation. That's all it is. Don't look to force people to think like you, because they're not. People have to come to their own decisions in their own time. And when light bulbs go on, if they fact check, if they see things differently, it's up to them. But if we can start dialoguing, if we can start connecting better and not demonizing each other. And by the way, you know when your media outlet is lying when they start demonizing, when they start being snarky, when they make fun of the other side. I don't care who it is. You know they're lying to you. They're bullying. Turn the channel. You want thoughtful conversations where both sides of an idea are brought forward in a respectful way. And so I leave you with my sandwich here, my Italian Sub sandwich. We both wish you a great rest of the day. We are going to take our out to lunch thinking and make it appropriate for every meal. Cheers.